So, two important disclaimers that I want to get out of the way right off the bat because this is so important. Peter Schiff does have a conflict of interest here. You should know about it. So, for instance, he's a big advocate of investing in gold. In fact, he does have a financial interest in getting listeners to invest accordingly. So keep that in mind. Number two, the dollar has actually rallied since we started this war on Iran. According to CNBC, the dollar is still seen as a safe haven asset. So even though the dollar had been weakened in recent months, especially in the last several months, the war in Iran ended up spooking the investors who took money out of riskier investments and instead decided to park their funds in the US dollar. Okay, so that's what happened after the war started. However, the dollar's rally has slowed down a little bit today. Now, with that out of the way, the war in Iran could open up a whole new can of worms when it comes to inflation. And we should be very worried about that. First, let's go to Schiff's argument, and then I'll fill in the blanks.
The economy, will it be able to sustain such a war with the increase in energy prices? Will it won't impact the US as much as it will impact Europe and Asia?
Well, as long as we can keep going into debt and we can sustain it, as long as we can keep borrowing money. But the problem is, if the Fed has to print all the money and we have a lot of inflation, can we sustain that? Or foreign central banks are moving away from the dollar. Now, it's possible that this war slows down the exodus from the dollar, but it's also possible it speeds it up. And if it speeds it up, then we're even less able to continue the war. If it slows it down, that buys us some time. But it's going to mean higher oil prices. That's a certainty. How much higher, it's hard to say. They could end up being a lot higher. And obviously that's problematic.
That sure is problematic, Peter. Definitely problematic. And I have no doubt that what we pay at the pump, we've already seen it increase since the war began. And I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. And remember, when it comes to energy, when it comes to oil, when it comes to gas, we're not just talking about what you pay at the pump. We're also talking about the cost of transporting goods and services. And so that is going to lead to